Oops.
All right, good evening, everyone. Today is Tuesday, September 26th, 2023. I will call this city council meeting to order. Tracy, welcome back. We have a roll call, please.
Bermal,
Aye.
Harrington,
Here.
Sittig,
Here.
Smith,
Here.
Wason.
Here.
Thank you. Item 3 is approval of the agenda, and there are no changes. If I could have a motion for consideration, please.
So moved.
Second.
Then moved and second. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Item 4 is our consent agenda. Not much on there. Could I have a motion for consideration?
So moved.
Second.
Moved and seconded. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Item 5 is time for public comment. If there's anyone in the audience wishing to make comment or provide comments to council that's not already on the agenda, now is your time to do so.
Well, the last thing I wanted to do was come to this spot. And first question, I hope I can go quick, but my first question for all you is, what is your job here? Like, what is your duty here?
Could you please introduce yourself? And our council is not able
Sure,
to interact
sorry, I
with you.
apologize.
That's okay. And our council is not able to interact with you. You're just able to provide comment to them. Thank
Got
you.
it.
It's all right.
Okay. All right. Oh, geez. Okay, so my name is Kyle Gardner. Okay. About June 1st, I recall, about 9 p.m. ish, a whole bunch of water backed up into my basement from the pizza ranch, clogging it. And I got multiple confirmations of this, and I am trying to figure out why we can't have accountability in this world, and why do I pay taxes if you folks don't want to maintain your sewer lines, and Pizza Ranch has either faulty grease traps or they're not training their people appropriately and they're illegally dumping grease, because that much grease doesn't come out of there, and I have evidence and pictures and photos, and your mayor already knows a lot of it. And I'm curious as to why a citizen who pays taxes, works at a small business, tries to help be a better community member for everybody, is not getting any help back. I've got a lawyer on this now, right? And so city council in some form should have gotten a letter or some kind of information regarding this. And if they have not, I will make sure that occurs. But I'm trying to figure out why both parties aren't accountable for this, because when I watched them run a 400-foot snake that the city had to unclog, I couldn't stop it from my house. You were talking earlier about disease. This is a public health thing. I have a 4-year-old. You have shit water coming into my basement uncontrollably, and nobody wants to take responsibility for it. Okay? Talk about COVID, whatever else. Okay. And you're talking backflow preventer. My house is built in 1977. There's no code, none whatsoever, for homes built in 1977 of a backflow preventer, which you said, Mr. Mayor, on the phone that I caught you in a lie saying that you would put one in at your cost. I don't ever remember one getting put in. Okay. And so then the other thing is that I shouldn't even pay my city sewer service if you guys are going to forget about old North Liberty, wasting all your time building new North Liberty. I'm trying to be, see, now I wish you would talk back to me, because I feel like I would be a lot less erratic. And so my other thing is I'm trying to figure out, what do you guys do? Do you guys help the city of North Liberty, or do you just pay attention to the contractors and the people building stuff? Because I don't ever remember in the last even couple of years them big trucks coming down and checking my sewer lines, unless you're doing it at 2 a.m. But I'm usually out running by like 4 or 5. I usually take my dogs for walks all the time. I'm active around my community, and I don't ever really see that. So if you're wanting to tell me that a big thing agreed, like the manhole that they cleared from Dubuque Street was completely dry, right? So there was no water consistently flowing through it. When they ran a 400-foot jetting system through the sewer all the way through the back end of Pizza Ranch, a huge gush of water came out, and they were taking these big clamp things and they were pulling out grease, confirming to me that it's big piles of grease. Now, I've reached out to Pizza Ranch, Brandon Lang, Cody Shank, their GM. I've known Cody Shank for 20 years. I've reached out to all these people, but everybody wants to be silent. You guys can't talk back to me. This is a country, this free country. You guys should be able to talk to me. Tell me what your thoughts are.
Kyle, I can talk to you, and
Oh.
it's okay. And you and I have had a conversation about this, and I know that our council is already aware of your situation. And to my knowledge, this is something that our city staff is working with you on, or should be as well. So I'll make sure and we'll follow up to make sure that they are. Because
I
the
hope
last
so,
thing,
because Surf Pro needs the last
Kyle, I
little
was
money.
talking still. If you want to have a conversation, let's do this two ways, okay?
Appreciate that.
I appreciate you being here. And you and I had some good conversations on the phone, and we're all very sorry that this had happened. And I expressed that to you. Our city staff is aware and is doing what they are able to do. And I believe that has probably been communicated to you. I don't know the resolution on that. And you're shaking your head. So I'll make sure that we get some follow up for you on that.
Please.
Okay? You're welcome.
Okay.
You're welcome.
That's all I want.
You got it, man.
I want constant communication. Quick. I owe money. I have to get my basement fixed up, and there has been nothing for months. And I've tried to be calm. I have tried. And I appreciate that.
You're welcome. Again, I'm very sorry. We all are. I know that it was a very unfortunate situation, and that's a light term for it. I do appreciate you coming in and reminding us of that.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Is there anyone else in the audience wishing to make comment tonight for council? All right, let's move on to item number 6 then. This is our engineer report. Josiah.
Thanks. Quick report tonight. We've had a lot of projects that I've talked about that are in design, so they're still going. No big milestones or anything. Penn Meadows Park, if you've been by there, quick update. The whole new west parking lot is paved. You'll see that almost all of the new curb and gutter in the existing lot to the east is in, so it's really starting to look like something's come together. So that's going well there. We got an updated schedule. They're still on track to be done in November. So that's it. That's all I have for tonight, unless there's questions.
That can't possibly be it, is it? I'm
That's
just kidding. Any questions for Josiah? All right. Thank you, Josiah. Item 7 is our city administrator report, which Ryan is absent tonight for good reasons with his family tonight. I'll move on to my mayor's report. I'm going to, we'll talk about our proclamation first. Alta, do you want to come on up? And we're going to be, I'll let you make those introductions.
All right. Hi, thanks so much for having me, or letting me come, I guess, rather. I invited myself. My name is Alta. I'm the Director of Community Engagement for the Domestic Violence Intervention Program. This is my first time actually being in front of you guys, but I have sent many an email and communicated a lot, so it's nice to see your faces. October is Domestic Violence Awareness Month, and we use this opportunity to let community members know that our services are here, that victim survivors are supported. That's the primary goal of what we're doing, but also to update you on our work. In the past year, we've served 198 individuals from North Liberty alone, out of the 1,400 in Johnson County. So that is a substantial number that is continuing to rise. Over time. In the past year, we've seen a 130% increase in victim survivor need in North Liberty over the last year. That is a substantial number, in part due to access to services and resources. So victim survivors know that we're here. We've started actually doing open hours at the community food pantry here in North Liberty, as well as at Branshaw House. That in turn has allowed victim survivors that have restrictions on transportation or mobility or access to sort of all of those autonomy things, right? Phone calls and that type of thing, to be able to actually access our services in a much more safe and effective way. And so we are really honored to be partnering with so many aspects of North Liberty and serving the people here. The other number that I love to brag about is that 94% of the victim survivors we serve feel safer because of the work they do with our advocates. That is a consistent number that ranges between 94 and 98% every year. And that is a really remarkable thing that our advocates are able to do. And then I wanted to answer any questions. We have a lot going on. We are building a new building, and thank you all so much for your support of that project. We are over 78% of the way to that goal, which is very exciting. The elevator shaft is built. They are pouring the foundations this week, so it is well on its way. And that will double our capacity to serve even more victim survivors with emergency shelter. But any questions?
Those were my biggest questions, how the construction was coming along.
Yeah, yep, it's happening.
That's awesome.
We're-
When do you expect it will be completed and usable for you?
Yeah, so we expect about a year from now.
Okay.
So when I come back next year, I should be able to say, ta-da, it's done.
Nice.
And then we'll start moving folks in at a phased rate. So we're not going to move 100% population in right away, but we will phase in the existing clients at our existing shelter, move them in, and then start doubling that capacity and taking individuals as they need assistance. Every year, we divert about 350 to 400 folks to other programs or hotels, and so we know that we will be full within a very short amount of time of opening that new space.
And you're going to be able to use that existing space right now for some additional office space for you all, as well as
Yeah, so our existing shelter will be then converted to some affordable housing and transitional housing on the top level, and then offices and meeting space for support groups and that type of thing. My team actually will have storage on site, which is very exciting. We go through about 400 pillows a year, and we are blessed enough to have a family that donates all 400 pillows to us, which is incredible. But storing 400 pillows takes a lot of room. And having to drive about 40 minutes each way to go pick those up from our storage unit is not a good use of our staff time. So we're really excited about some of the storage stuff that will just make us more effective in helping folks.
Terrific. You don't have questions?
Mayor, I just the city and this council in particular has been supportive with funding. Are there any additional asks on the education side, on the advocacy side that we can assist with?
That's a great question. We actually are expanding our youth services. So we were awarded a federal grant this year. Like literally, we're doing interviews next week. It's that brand new. But we will be expanding our youth services to include outreach. Currently, for the last 43 years, we've only been able to do youth activities within our emergency shelter for the youth that reside there. And so we are adding additional roles, staff to support that activity, but that is certainly an area that we are seeking some more support for awareness, for connections with schools and that sort of thing. So yeah, there's definitely some other stuff that we're working on. Prevention education is a huge thing. If we're going to end domestic violence, which is part of our mission, it is really vital that we start with kiddos and supporting them. The other area is that we are facing a 37% funding cut at the federal level again this year. And so contacting your legislators and encouraging your constituents to do the same, to let them know to level fund like they did last year, will make a huge impact on all of the programs throughout the state of Iowa and the country.
Well, we appreciate what you do, and I know that our council and staff would be happy to partner in any way that we can, whether that's assisting in getting into Liberty High School, Clear Creek, and West, other places for the advocacy and the education part, but also in reaching our citizenry through the communications ports that we have. We'd be happy to help.
Absolutely. Thank you. I'll send some more stuff. We are hiring for a number of positions, so certainly helping us share those job postings will help us have advocates that can then connect with the people in need.
Yeah. Thanks, Mayor.
You're welcome. Anyone else? Okay. Also, I've got a proclamation to read, and then we'll do we can take a picture of this together, okay?
Yes.
Whereas domestic violence, dating violence, and stalking affects women, children, and men of all racial, cultural, and economic backgrounds, causing long-term physical, psychological, and emotional harm. And whereas 1 in 3 Americans has witnessed an incident of domestic violence, and whereas children who experience domestic violence are at a high risk for failure in school, mental illness, substance abuse, suicide, and may choose violence as a way to solve problems later in life. And whereas domestic violence in rural communities exists as a hidden, silent, and often unrecognized crime that is often underreported, and whereas through the inspiration, courage, and persistence of victims of domestic violence, their children and advocates, our communities are learning to recognize the impact of violence in the home and within intimate relationships. And whereas the Domestic Violence Intervention Program has worked to end violence in intimate relationships for more than 40 years through the collaborative partnerships of advocates, volunteers, local municipalities, criminal justice, health and human services, faith communities, business leaders, and private citizens. And whereas our community's achievements should be commended, and we must continue our commitment to respect and support victims of domestic violence and to prevent further violence in our community. Now, therefore, be it resolved that we, the City Council of North Liberty, do hereby proclaim the month of October 2023 to be Domestic Violence Awareness Month in the City of North Liberty, and urge all people to work together to eliminate domestic violence, dating violence, and stalking from our community.
Thank you.
Welcome. I'll give this to you, Alta. You're welcome. Yeah.
Social media staff.
Definitely.
Be very happy with you by doing.
Oh, here.
Do you want to use the proclamation?
Oh, sure. Okay. Everybody does it a little different.
The shifting has happened.
You may
I
scurry
was going to
back.
ask him to make sure he gets you in the background.
Other things that I had to report on the mayor's side is that just from a schedule standpoint, a number of us were able to attend the League of City Conference last week up in Cedar Rapids. And some of the sessions that I was able to join were regarding leadership. And inside of there, they sprinkled in the new tax laws and the effects that Ryan did a great job of explaining to us a meeting or two ago. I sat in on the session provided by the Storm Lake Police Department and their mayor on diversity and inclusion, the most diverse city in the state of Iowa, and also on financing renewable energy projects. It was nice. Somebody said that it's almost like a family reunion, that we get to do this once a year. So a lot of familiar faces and a lot of new faces to be up there as well. And the only other thing that was of note was former city engineer Kevin Trom's retirement party down at Shive Hattery was able to go down there for that. And it was a good send-off. And also former Mayor Donahue was able to stop down, and so was former city planner Dean Wheatley. It was good to see both of them down there for that. So that's all I have for my announcements. And I'll turn it over to you guys now for item 9. If there are any things that you want to report out that you've been doing on the city's behalf in the last couple of weeks.
I attended Neighbors and Flavors, the event at the Ranshaw House a couple weeks ago, and it's a really great event. I urge everyone to come out next year. Good food, good music, and interesting people to talk to. I also went to Kevin Trom's retirement party and the League of Cities thing, and I want to remind everyone that is it Good Neighbor Day is Thursday this week, and there are a number of ambassador groups that are putting together events for that. So look for those.
Thanks, Eric. Anyone else? Yes, Brian.
Another thing to remember, what tomorrow is the high school's homecoming parade, and some of the streets are going to be closed.
Yeah, just
By
around
the high school.
By the high school, right?
And I took a little tour today with the city administrator, and went to the police department, and was able to compare that to my initial tour of the initial police department in the way back day. So thanks to Lieutenant Ross for doing that. And then we went to the water treatment plant and went through some of that, and went through some of the computers, how that's running and everything. And then I got a report on the GIS system where they put all the data in and where all the wells and lines and stuff are. It was pretty impressive, and Nick showed us that. And then we did go and tour the new city hall.
Awesome.
So it's going to be a pretty cool building. I think everybody's going to like it. It's going to really help the staff do their jobs even better.
Yep. More efficiently.
Mhm.
Definitely. Right.
I also enjoyed my time at the League of Cities Conference. Took some classes and learned as always. I was able to witness some of the police department training. They were up in Cedar Rapids today. I won't give details because I did not ask the chief if I could speak about it. So I would just say that the police department was hard at work training as they always do. And it was just neat to have some firsthand to be able to see them interact together and work as a team and do their training today. So we appreciate what they do.
Anything else?
I too was at the League of Cities event. I've had a chance to tour the new city hall facilities. Unfortunately, I won't be here to celebrate it all the way as a council member, but I will be there. And just some of the other community events that were mentioned as well, being able to just go and support. It's also always a pleasure to see community out and just know that there's a lot going on in North Liberty.
Yep, there is. I think you and I sat in on that diversity and inclusion, and it wasn't necessarily anything earth-shattering about us or about what cities can do, but just all of you being out at these events, doing what you can to be in the community says a lot to help bring community together. So well, thank you for what you're doing in that way. All right.
I should have also thanked, and I know I saw at least a couple of council members at the Pantry's Taste Tour and Tribute last week.
Yeah.
And I know the Pantry appreciates all the support from the
Yes,
city.
it's a good example. Yes. Awesome.
The weather always seems to cooperate
Yeah.
for that event.
Knock on wood so far.
You're right.
Perfect. Okay, move on to item number 10 then, and that is the annexation property tax transition. And item A is resolution number 2023-106, a resolution providing a transition for the imposition of city taxes against property within a certain annexation area. Could I have a motion for consideration, please?
So moved.
I'll second.
Thank you. Are there any questions about this? Pretty straightforward, and Ryan's memo was helpful. All right. Tracy, could I have a roll call, please?
Bermal,
Aye.
Harrington,
Aye.
Wason,
Aye.
Smith,
Aye.
Sittig.
Aye.
Motion carries. Item E is our 28E agreement for fire protection with Madison Township and Penn Township. And this is item A, resolution number 2023-107. And this is a resolution approving the 28E agreement contract for fire protection services between the city of North Liberty and Madison Township and Penn Township. Could I have a motion for consideration, please?
So moved.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded. Any questions about this one? All right. Tracy, could I have a roll call, please?
Bermal,
Aye.
Wason,
Aye.
Harrington,
Aye.
Sittig,
Aye.
Smith.
Aye.
Motion carries. Item 12 is Jonathan Street parking, and item A is resolution number 2023-108, and this is a resolution approving parking control devices in the city of North Liberty, Iowa. Could I have a motion for consideration, please?
So moved.
Second.
Been moved and seconded. Are there any questions or comments about this? Getting pretty straightforward. Tracy, roll call, please.
Smith,
Aye.
Sittig,
Aye.
Bermal,
Aye.
Wason,
Aye.
Harrington.
Aye.
Motion carries. Item 13 is the Steinler Medical Final Plat, and item A is resolution number 2023-109. This is a resolution approving the stormwater management facilities maintenance agreement and easement between the City of North Liberty and Physicians Building Group, LLC, that establishes the terms and conditions under which stormwater management facilities will be maintained for Steinler Medical Park in the City of North Liberty, Iowa. Could I have a motion for consideration?
So moved.
Second.
Been moved and seconded. Any questions on this? Tracy, roll call, please.
Bermal,
Aye.
Wason,
Aye.
Sittig,
Aye.
Harrington,
Aye.
Smith.
Aye.
Motion carries. And item B is resolution number 2023-110, and this is a resolution approving the final plat for Steinler Medical Park in North Liberty, Iowa. Could I have a motion for consideration?
So moved.
Second.
Been moved and seconded. Any questions? Tracy, roll call, please.
Bermal,
Aye.
Sittig,
Aye.
Smith,
Aye.
Harrington,
Aye.
Wason.
Aye.
Motion carries. Item 14 is Pratt Real Estate Management, Inc. zoning map amendment. Item A is second consideration of ordinance number 2023-22, and this is an ordinance amending the zoning map district designation for certain property located in North Liberty, Iowa, from RS9 Single Unit Residence District to RD10 Two Unit Residence District. Anyone make a consideration for this? Second.
moved.
Thank you.
Second.
Moved and seconded. Any other questions?
Just clarification's sake, the difference between this and the PAD that they have here, and which is item 15, this is a completely different product that they're proposing, correct? I mean, the PAD is going to be, I guess I'm articulating this incorrectly. It's going to essentially have some differentiation between that and this one section. Am I right?
Somewhat. I mean, this portion of the development will have frontage on a public street, and so it was held out separately. The other portion is kind of, for lack of a better phrase, an island contained with private streets.
So completely different product proposed per se.
I mean, it's going to be 2-family homes. I'm not sure that I would call it a different product. I envision it probably going to be the same builder. But I think one will have frontage on a public street and the other will have frontage on a private street.
The PAD's frontage on the private street?
Yes.
Okay, correct.
Any other questions? Tracy, could I have roll call, please?
Harrington,
Aye.
Bermal,
Nay.
Wason,
Aye.
Smith,
Aye.
Sittig.
Aye.
Motion carries 4-1. Item 15 is Pratt Real Estate Management, Inc. zoning map amendment and preliminary subdivision plat, PAD. And this is item A, is second consideration of ordinance number 2023-23, an ordinance amending the zoning map district designation for certain property located in North Liberty, Iowa, from ID Interim Development District and RS9 Single Unit District to RD10 PAD 2-Unit Residence District Planned Area Development, and approving the Planned Area Development Preliminary Plat and waivers pursuant to Chapter 168.053B. Could I have a motion for consideration?
So moved.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded. Any questions about this one? Tracy, can I have roll call, please?
Sittig,
Aye.
Smith,
Aye.
Harrington,
Aye.
Bermal,
Aye.
Wason.
Aye.
Motion carries. Item 16 is Scanlon Family LLC zoning map amendment, and this is item A, second consideration of ordinance number 2023-24, an ordinance amending the zoning map district designation for certain property located in North Liberty, Iowa, from RS6 Single Unit Residence District to RD8 Two-Unit Residence District. Could I have a motion for this second consideration?
So moved.
Second.
It's moved and seconded. Any other questions about this one? Tracy, could I roll call, please?
Sittig,
Aye.
Wason,
No.
Harrington,
Aye.
Bermal,
Aye.
Smith.
Aye.
Motion carries 4-1. Item 17 is street vacation. Item A is second consideration of ordinance number 2023-25, and this is an ordinance vacating a portion of the North Front Street right-of-way in North Liberty, Iowa. Motion for consideration, please.
So moved.
I'll second.
Moved and seconded. Any questions on that? Tracy, roll call, please.
Sittig,
Aye.
Harrington,
Aye.
Wason,
Aye.
Smith,
Aye.
Bermal.
Aye.
Motion carries. And item 18 is our zoning ordinance amendments. And item A is second consideration of ordinance number 2023-26. And this is an ordinance amending chapters 139, 165, 166, 167, 168, 169, and 173 of the North Liberty Code of Ordinances, amending regulations for naming of streets, conditions for construction site plan approval, zoning map amendments, and required comprehensive plan components, adding new and updating definitions, amending certain residential districts and combining the C2A and C2B zoning districts, amending bulk requirements in certain residential and commercial districts, zoning use matrix and zoning use standards, off-street parking regulations, maximum fence height in residential districts, accessory street structure standards, and permitted encroachments in required yards. The motion for consideration, please.
So moved.
Second.
Been moved and seconded.
I might see about shortening that for the next one.
That's a run-on sentence, Grant.
Kind of is. Won't take more breaths for you, Counselor. Tracy, could I have roll call, please?
Harrington,
Aye.
Bermal,
Aye.
Wason,
Aye.
Sittig,
Aye.
Smith.
Aye.
Motion carries. Look at that. Item 19 is old business. Anything to dredge up? All right, item 20 is new business. Yes, sir.
It's flu season, so it's time for everybody, if they're so inclined, to get their flu vaccine.
Thank you.
Suggest they really do it. We were very worried about this year.
Thank you for that reminder. Anyone else? All right, could I have a motion for adjournment?
So moved.
Second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Thank you all. We are adjourned.
Best.